What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this video, there are mysteries on our planet that have baffled the greatest minds for decades? Mysteries so strange that even NASA scientists scratch their heads and say, "We have no idea." From ancient machines that shouldn't exist to signals from space that might change everything we know about life itself. These aren't just stories. They're real, they're unexplained, and they're absolutely mind-blowing. I'm about to show you 10 mysteries that will make you question everything you thought you knew about our world. And I guarantee, by the end of this video, you'll be Googling at least 3 of these. But first, if you're ready to have your mind blown, smash that like button and let's dive into the unknown.
In the heart of North London stands one of the world's most hauntingly beautiful and mysteriously active cemeteries. Highgate Cemetery isn't just the final resting place of famous figures like Karl Marx and Douglas Adams. It's the center of one of modern history's most persistent and well-documented supernatural mysteries. For over 50 years, this Victorian necropolis has been the focal point of vampire legends, ghost sightings, and unexplained phenomena that have attracted paranormal investigators from around the globe. The mystery began in the late 1960s when locals started reporting strange occurrences. Witnesses described a tall, dark figure gliding between the weathered tombstones, always appearing at dusk and vanishing before dawn. Unlike typical ghost sightings, this entity seemed to possess a malevolent intelligence, actively stalking visitors and emanating an aura of ancient evil. Reports included accounts of the figure's glowing red eyes, its ability to command animals, particularly large black dogs and ravens, and its apparent immunity to conventional means of detection or deterrence. What transformed local folklore into international mystery was the sheer consistency of witness accounts across decades. Independent witnesses, many of whom had never heard the existing stories, described identical encounters. The figure was always described as approximately 7 feet tall, wearing a dark Victorian-era coat, and moving with an unnatural gliding motion rather than walking. Multiple witnesses reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread and physical coldness when the entity was nearby. The phenomena intensified during the 1970s when paranormal investigator Sean Manchester publicly declared that Highgate Cemetery was harbored by an authentic vampire. His claims sparked what became known as the Highgate Vampire Hunt, drawing media attention and amateur vampire hunters from around the world. Despite extensive investigations, stake-wielding vigilantes, and even attempted exorcisms, the sightings continued. What makes the Highgate mystery particularly compelling is the cemetery's unique history and atmospheric conditions. Built in 1839, the cemetery was designed as a garden cemetery with elaborate Gothic Revival architecture, winding paths, and dramatic landscaping that creates countless shadows and hidden alcoves. The Victorian fascination with death and mourning rituals imbued the space with an inherently Gothic atmosphere that seems to attract supernatural activity.
Carved into the Colorado desert floor of southeastern California lie some of the most massive and mysterious geoglyphs in North America. The Blythe intaglios stretch across the landscape like messages written by giants, with the largest human figure measuring an incredible 171 feet from head to toe. These enormous ground drawings, visible only from the air, were created by ancient peoples for reasons that remain completely unknown. The intaglios consist of over 200 individual figures spread across 6 different sites. They include human forms, 4-legged animals that might represent horses or mythical creatures, and complex geometric patterns. Unlike the famous Nazca lines of Peru, which were made by removing dark stones to reveal lighter sand underneath, the Blythe figures were created by scraping away desert pavement to expose the lighter-colored earth beneath. What makes these geoglyphs particularly puzzling is their age and cultural context. While some researchers date them to between 450 and 2,000 years old, the indigenous peoples of the region have no oral traditions explaining their creation. The local Mojave and Chemehuevi tribes acknowledge the figures as sacred sites, but claim they were already ancient when their ancestors first arrived in the area. The largest human figure, known as the Giant of the Desert, displays anatomical proportions that are remarkably accurate despite its enormous scale. The precision required to create such accurate human forms at this size, without being able to view the work from above, suggests sophisticated planning and mathematical knowledge. Recent studies using ground-penetrating radar have revealed that some figures extend even deeper into the earth than previously thought, indicating a more complex construction process than simple scraping. Perhaps most intriguingly, many of the figures are aligned with astronomical phenomena. The largest human figure points directly toward the summer solstice sunrise, while other geoglyphs align with various star patterns and lunar cycles. This suggests the creators possessed advanced knowledge of celestial mechanics and may have used these massive figures as a kind of astronomical calculator visible from the heavens. Hidden in the heart of France lies a valley shrouded in centuries-old mystery and wrapped in legends that refuse to die. Vallée de Milly appears unremarkable to casual observers: rolling hills, ancient stone walls, and overgrown pathways leading nowhere in particular. But according to local lore and historical accounts, this quiet valley once harbored one of Europe's most enigmatic secret societies. The mystery begins in the 17th century, when rumors spread throughout the region about a clandestine group called the Milly Illuminati. Unlike other secret societies focused on political power or occult practices, this group allegedly consisted of brilliant intellectuals, scientists, and philosophers who gathered to discuss forbidden knowledge about the cosmos, advanced mathematics, and natural sciences that were centuries ahead of their time. What makes Vallée de Milly truly unique are its whispering cliffs, limestone rock formations that possess unusual acoustic properties. Local residents claim these cliffs can carry and amplify conversations across impossible distances, allowing whispered words spoken on one side of the valley to be heard clearly on the other. Modern acoustic engineers who've studied the phenomenon confirm unusual sound reflection patterns, but can't fully explain how voices travel so clearly across such distances. The valley's most mysterious feature is the ruins of an ancient chapel, built into the cliff face itself. The structure's architecture doesn't match any known French building style from any historical period. Inside the ruins, archaeologists have discovered stone tablets covered in mathematical equations and astronomical calculations that were remarkably advanced for their supposed time period. Some equations accurately predict celestial events that wouldn't be officially discovered until the 18th and 19th centuries. Historical records from the period are frustratingly vague, mentioning only that learned men gather in the valley to speak with the stones. Church documents from nearby monasteries reference the area with suspicion, describing it as a place where forbidden knowledge echoes through time itself. Rising from Bolivia's desolate Siloli Desert like a monument to impossible physics, Árbol de Piedra, the stone tree, stands as one of South America's most bewildering natural sculptures. This 16-foot-tall sandstone formation defies logical explanation, balanced so precariously that it seems to mock the very laws of gravity and erosion. The tree consists of a massive boulder crown perched on an impossibly thin stone trunk, creating a silhouette that perfectly mimics a wind-swept tree. Located within Eduardo Avaroa Andean Fauna National Reserve, at an altitude of over 14,000 feet, this formation stands alone in a landscape so barren it resembles the surface of Mars. The surrounding terrain is virtually lifeless, just endless. Stretches of volcanic rock, salt flats, and mineral deposits painted in surreal colors. According to geological surveys, the formation was created over millions of years by erosion from fierce desert winds, carrying abrasive particles. However, this explanation raises more questions than it answers. Traditional erosion patterns should have worn away the narrow base, first causing the massive top to collapse long ago. Instead, the thin trunk has somehow remained intact, while the surrounding rock has been worn away. The mystery deepens when you examine the formation's composition. The boulder crown and the supporting base are made of different types of stone with varying hardness levels. Typically, wind erosion would affect softer and harder rocks differently, yet here they seem to have eroded at precisely the rate needed to maintain this impossible balance. Local indigenous communities have regarded the stone tree with reverence for centuries, considering it a sacred site where earth spirits reside. They speak of strange phenomena around the formation, unusual wind patterns that seem to circle the structure, temperature variations that create microclimates, and an electromagnetic quality that affects compass readings. Modern visitors often report similar experiences, describing an otherworldly atmosphere that seems to bend the normal rules of physics. Along New Zealand's Otago coast, scattered across Koakohi Beach like giant marbles left by cosmic children, lie some of the most perfectly spherical rocks on Earth. The Moeraki boulders aren't just unusual. They're so geometrically perfect, they seem almost artificially created. Yet they're entirely natural formations that have mystified geologists and visitors for centuries. These massive concretions, some weighing several tons and measuring up to 6.5 feet in diameter, are nearly perfectly spherical. Their surface is smooth, almost polished, and many display intricate crack patterns that create natural mosaic designs. What makes them truly extraordinary is their uniformity. Out of dozens of boulders, most maintain the same remarkable roundness that would challenge even modern manufacturing techniques. The scientific explanation involves a 60-million-year geological process. These boulders formed on the sea floor around calcite crystals, slowly growing layer by layer as minerals precipitated from ancient seawater. Over millions of years, they were buried in mudstone, then gradually revealed through coastal erosion. However, this explanation, while scientifically sound, doesn't fully account for their remarkable uniformity, or why this particular beach has such a concentration of perfect specimens. Local Maori legends offer a different explanation. According to traditional stories, these boulders are the remnants of eel baskets, calabashes, and sweet potatoes that washed ashore from the wreck of a Rai Te Uru, a large sailing canoe. The legend tells of the canoe's journey from Hawaii, the mythical Polynesian homeland, and how its cargo was transformed into stone after the vessel was destroyed near the coast. What adds to the mystery is that similar boulder formations exist in only a few other places worldwide, and none display the same level of perfection as the Moeraki specimens. The boulders continue to emerge from the cliff face as erosion progresses, with new specimens appearing every few years, as if the beach is slowly revealing an ancient treasure trove. Hidden in Peru's southern desert lies one of archaeology's most confounding mysteries, the Nazca lines. These aren't just random drawings scratched into the dirt. They're massive geoglyphs spanning over 1,000 square kilometers, depicting animals, plants, and geometric shapes so large they can only be fully appreciated from the air. And that's exactly what makes them so mysterious. They were created by a civilization that supposedly never achieved flight. The scale of these lines is breathtaking. The hummingbird stretches 305 feet across, the spider spans 150 feet, and the monkey extends over 360 feet. Some of the geometric lines run perfectly straight for over 30 miles, maintaining their direction with an accuracy that would challenge modern surveyors. The precision is so exact that the lines deviate less than 9 feet over their entire length. Created by the Nazca people between 500 BCE and 500 CE, these geoglyphs were made by removing the dark, oxidized pebbles from the desert surface to reveal the lighter sand beneath. The dry, windless climate has preserved them for over 1,500 years, but their purpose remains hotly debated among scholars. Some researchers believe the lines served as an astronomical calendar, with certain geoglyphs aligning with celestial events, like solstices and equinoxes. Others suggest they were ceremonial pathways used in religious rituals, possibly related to water worship in this extremely arid region. The most intriguing theory proposes that the lines were meant to be seen by gods or spirits from above, serving as massive prayer offerings visible from the heavens. But perhaps the most puzzling aspect is how the Nazca people managed to create such accurate large-scale designs without being able to see their work from above. Recent experiments using only tools and techniques available to ancient peoples have shown it's possible, but requires sophisticated planning and mathematical knowledge that challenges our assumptions about pre-Columbian civilizations. In the heart of Turkmenistan's Karakum Desert burns a crater that locals call the Door to Hell. And once you see it, you'll understand why. This 230-foot wide pit has been blazing continuously for over 5 decades, creating an otherworldly spectacle that seems ripped from biblical prophecy. The story begins in 1971 when Soviet engineers were drilling for natural gas deposits. Their equipment broke through into a massive underground cavern, causing the ground to collapse and creating the crater we see today. Natural gas began pouring out at dangerous levels, threatening the local environment and any nearby settlements. The engineers made what they thought was a simple decision: light the gas on fire to burn it off safely. They estimated it would take a few days, maybe weeks at most. They were spectacularly wrong. The flames have been burning non-stop for over 50 years, consuming an estimated 8,000 cubic meters of natural gas daily. The fire burns so consistently that locals use it as a landmark, visible from miles away even during daylight hours. At night, the crater transforms into a mesmerizing inferno, with flames dancing 20 feet into the air and temperatures reaching over 1,000 degrees Celsius. But here's what makes it truly mysterious. Nobody knows exactly how much gas is down there, or when it might finally run out. Geological surveys suggest the underground reserves could fuel these flames for decades or even centuries more. Some scientists theorize that the cavern connects to a much larger network of natural gas pockets, essentially creating an underground fuel source of unknown proportions. The Turkmen government has tried multiple times to extinguish the flames, to tap the gas commercially, but every attempt has failed. The crater seems to have developed its own ecosystem of fire, with the flames feeding on themselves and the surrounding geological structures in ways that defy simple explanation. Step into New Mexico's Bisti Badlands, and you'll swear you've been transported to an alien planet. This 368-acre wilderness area looks like the surface of Mars, complete with towering rock formations so bizarre they seem carved by extraterrestrial architects rather than natural forces. The name Bisti comes from the Navajo word for large shale hills. But these aren't ordinary hills. Millions of years of erosion have sculpted the landscape into impossible shapes, mushroom rocks that seem to defy gravity, delicate stone arches that shouldn't be able to support their own weight, and hoodoos twisted into spirals that look like alien sculptures. Some formations are perfectly balanced, with massive boulder heads sitting on thin stone necks that look ready to topple at any moment. What makes Bisti truly mysterious is how these formations violate our understanding of erosion patterns. Typically, wind and water wear away soft rock and leave harder materials intact. But here, the process seems reversed. Soft mudstone has been carved into intricate details, while harder materials have crumbled away. It's as if the normal rules of geology don't apply. The area is also rich with fossilized remains from when this desert was a lush, subtropical swamp 70 million years ago. Paleontologists have discovered complete dinosaur skeletons, ancient crocodiles, and prehistoric plant life preserved in stunning detail. But even the fossil record here is unusual, with species combinations that shouldn't exist together. Local Navajo legends speak of the area as a place where the spirit world intersects with our reality. They describe strange lights, unexplained sounds, and a feeling that time moves differently here. Modern visitors often report similar experiences: compass needles spinning wildly, electronic devices malfunctioning, and an eerie sense of being watched by invisible eyes. Imagine a book so mysterious that it has defeated cryptographers, linguists, and computer algorithms for over a century. The Voynich manuscript is exactly that, a 240-page medieval codex written in an unknown language, filled with bizarre illustrations that seem to come from another world entirely. Discovered in 1912 by rare book dealer Wilfrid Voynich, this manuscript has been called the most mysterious manuscript in the world. Its pages contain detailed drawings of plants that don't exist on Earth, astronomical charts with unfamiliar constellations, and strange human figures bathing in green liquid. The text flows elegantly across the pages in an alphabet that no scholar has ever seen before. The mystery deepens when you learn that some of the world's greatest minds have tried to crack its code. During World War II, top cryptographers who broke enemy codes couldn't decipher a single word. Computer scientists have run the text through advanced algorithms designed to break any known language pattern. Nothing. The writing system follows statistical patterns of real languages, but doesn't match any known linguistic family. Carbon dating places the manuscript between 1404 and 1438, but its origins remain completely unknown. Some theories suggest it's an elaborate hoax, but the consistent writing style across hundreds of pages would require incredible dedication for a fake. Others believe it might be written in a coded language or represent knowledge from a lost civilization. Most intriguingly, some researchers propose it could be an instruction manual for advanced medical or alchemical practices far ahead of its time. What knowledge could be locked within these mysterious pages? Until someone cracks the code, the Voynich manuscript remains one of history's most tantalizing puzzles. Deep beneath the crystal-clear waters off Japan's Yonaguni Island lies one of the most controversial discoveries in modern archaeology. In 1987, a local diving instructor stumbled upon massive stone structures that defied all explanation. What he found wasn't just rocks. It was a complex of terraces, perfectly carved stairs, and ceremonial platforms that looked eerily similar to ancient pyramids. The Yonaguni Monument, as it's now called, stretches over 500 feet long and rises 80 feet from the ocean floor. Marine geologist Dr. Masaki Kimura has spent decades studying the site and believes it's the remains of a 12,000-year-old civilization, older than the Egyptian pyramids. The precision of the cuts, the organized layout, and the presence of what appear to be roads and amphitheaters suggest advanced engineering that shouldn't have existed when sea levels were lower. But here's where it gets controversial. Skeptical geologists argue that natural erosion could have created these formations. However, they struggle to explain the 90-degree angles, the seemingly carved animal figures, and the organized structure that mirrors known human architecture. If this is indeed man-made, it would rewrite our understanding of ancient civilizations and suggest that advanced societies existed far earlier than we ever imagined. The Japanese government has been tight-lipped about extensive research, adding to the mystery. What are they hiding? Is this proof of a lost civilization, or just an incredible geological coincidence? The truth remains submerged, 100 feet below the surface, waiting to reveal its secrets, ever imagined. But this is just the beginning. If these unexplained phenomena have captured your imagination, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I've got 40 more mind-bending mysteries coming your way.